You are about to say something. Right now. This very second. And you have no idea what your brain just did to make that happen. Feels instant. Feels like nothing at all. But in the quarter second before your mouth opens, your brain runs one of the fastest, most complicated processes in the entire human body. Think about the last time you were mid-conversation and someone asked you a question. You answered almost immediately. No pause. No visible effort. But that answer was not free. It was built, piece by piece, in a sequence so fast you never noticed it happening. Here is what actually happens. Before a single word leaves your mouth, your brain has already chosen a concept. Then it has searched for the right word to match that concept. Then it has built the grammar around that word. Then it has planned the exact muscle movements needed to pronounce it. All of that before sound even exists. Scientists call this process language production, and for decades, nobody could actually watch it happen in real time. That changed with a Dutch psycholinguist named Willem Levelt. In the 1980s and 1990s, Levelt proposed a model of speech production that broke this hidden process into stages. First, conceptualization. Your brain decides what it wants to communicate before any words are attached to it. Second, formulation. Your brain selects words and builds sentence structure around them. Third, articulation. Your brain sends signals to over 100 muscles in your jaw, tongue, lips, and throat, coordinating them with a precision no machine has ever matched. What's strange is how little of this you experience. You feel like you simply think a thought and then you say it. But your brain is quietly juggling meaning, vocabulary, grammar, and muscle control, all within a few hundred milliseconds. Have you ever wondered why you sometimes know exactly what you want to say, but the word won't come out? That gap has a name. Psychologists call it the tip of the tongue state, and it reveals something important. It shows that meaning and word retrieval are two separate steps. Your brain can fully grasp a concept while still failing to locate the specific word attached to it. That's not forgetfulness in the way people assume. It's your brain temporarily losing the bridge between an idea and its label, while the idea itself stays completely intact. A German researcher named Peter Indefrey spent years studying exactly how long each stage of this process takes. Using brain imaging, Indefrey and his colleagues found that producing a single spoken word, from the first spark of meaning to the final sound leaving your mouth, takes roughly 600 milliseconds. That's little more than half a second. In that time, your brain has already decided what to say, chosen the word, arranged the grammar, and fired the exact sequence of muscle commands needed to speak it aloud. Half a second. For something that feels instant to you, that is an enormous amount of hidden work. Now here's where it gets stranger. Your brain doesn't wait until it finishes planning an entire sentence before it starts speaking. It begins producing the first few words while it is still planning the rest. This is why people sometimes start a sentence and only halfway through realize they don't actually know how to finish it. You've felt this. The sentence starts strong and then trails off or shifts direction entirely. That's not a flaw. That's your brain speaking and planning at the same time, running two processes in parallel because waiting for the whole plan to finish would make conversation painfully slow. This overlapping system explains something else too. Why you sometimes say the wrong word entirely, a word that sounds similar or means something close to what you intended. These slips aren't random. They follow patterns. A person might say cat instead of cap, swapping words that sound alike, or table instead of chair, swapping words that mean something similar. Linguists have studied thousands of these errors, and they consistently fall into predictable categories. Your brain isn't glitching. It's revealing its own internal filing system, the way it organizes sound and meaning into overlapping networks that occasionally cross wires. Long before modern brain scanners existed, a neurosurgeon named Wilder Penfield made a discovery that changed how scientists understood speech and the brain forever. While performing surgery on patients who were fully awake, Penfield gently stimulated different regions of the exposed brain with a small electrical probe. When he touched certain areas, patients would suddenly stop mid-sentence, unable to speak, even though they knew exactly what they wanted to say. Touch a different area, and they might involuntarily repeat a word or lose the ability to name a simple object they were looking directly at. Penfield's work gave researchers the first real map of where speech lives in the brain, showing that language isn't stored in one single location. It's distributed across a network, and disrupting even a small part of that network can interrupt speech in very specific, very telling ways. So what does all of this mean for you, sitting here about to say your next sentence? It means that every time you speak, without noticing it, you are running a process more complex than almost anything else your brain does. You are pulling meaning out of raw thought. You are searching a mental vocabulary of tens of thousands of words. You are assembling grammar on the fly, and you are commanding over 100 muscles to move in perfect sequence, fast enough that another person can understand you in real time. Why does this matter? Because it reframes something you do without thinking hundreds of times a day as something genuinely remarkable. You don't marvel at speaking the way you might marvel at a gymnast landing a perfect routine, or a musician playing a difficult piece from memory. But the truth is, your brain performs something just as demanding every single time you open your mouth. It just does it so fast and so invisibly that you never get to see the performance. Think about small talk. Think about the last time you answered a question without pausing to think. Somewhere in that half second, your brain built the entire sentence from nothing. It chose the concept, found the word, it built the structure, it fired the muscles, and you experienced none of it. You just heard yourself talk. There's something almost humbling in that. The parts of being human that feel the most automatic, the most effortless, are often the parts your brain is working hardest to produce. Speech isn't simple because the process behind it is simple. Speech feels simple because your brain has gotten extraordinarily good at hiding the complexity from you. So the next time you're mid-conversation and a sentence comes out of your mouth without a single conscious thought behind it, remember what just happened underneath the surface. Somewhere inside your skull, in less time than it takes to blink, a concept became a word became a sentence, and a sentence became sound. You are about to say something, right now, this very second. And now you know exactly what your brain just did to make that happen.